Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Cece Milan. We're back for another freaking video. So today's just gonna be 5 quick, well, not quick, but 5 tips that I've used to help me get along in my healing journey. They're more like landmines, honestly, if I like to think about it, just things that you have to cross to blow the junk up. So yeah, let's get started. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share everybody, y'all know this video. So, first things first, acknowledging what happened. I'm not gonna get too deep into this, but basically it's very important to acknowledge what happened to you, not the story that you've been giving other people, not the story that you made up in your head, but the events that happened. For the same purpose of making that situation worse or making that situation easier. Those both can be very detrimental. I put that as number one, mostly because I used to all the time forget a lot of the series of events that would happen. I would leave out very important chunks because I would not want to remember them. So honestly, I wouldn't remember them. So acknowledging what happened to you is very important, whether that has to do with people, events, anything like that. 2, learning to be alone. So, I'm a very social person, and I never thought I would get to the point where I would like to be alone because I love to socialize people. I love to talk to people. That's just what I do. And, I've reached this point where I honestly hate doing that now. Only person I really can talk to for a long period of time or be around for a long period of time is my best friend. That's literally it. I enjoy my space. I love being alone, but it took me a very long time to get to that point. Being alone necessarily doesn't mean you have to be lonely. It can feel like that in the beginning, and it definitely did feel like that personally. Going from always having someone to talk to or always having things to do to occupy your time or anything like that can get really hard. Especially when you have a routine and your routine gets messed up, you feel like you're just stuck in the middle and you're trying to grab onto the other pieces of other people who you surround yourself with that you don't necessarily really like, but because you're alone, you're gonna attach yourself to. You're stuck in that position of people leaving you or you having to leave a situation. Learn how to just honestly be alone. I spent a lot of time just sitting in my room crying. After getting a lot of that out, I've never used to really deal with my emotions. I'm really a compartmentalizer when it comes to stuff like that. Hello, interruption. But anyways, so I started honestly moving into number 3 was letting yourself feel. So yeah, it kind of goes hand in hand with each other, but they are definitely 2 different steps, and I wouldn't recommend trying to do both of them at the same time. The biggest step, and honestly, of all of this is giving yourself time. Letting yourself know that even though you feel like certain amount of time has gone by and you should be in a certain spot now and you're upset that you're not in a certain spot now. I've been really angry with myself over the things that I have not been completely over with by now. I really sugarcoat is what I'm saying. That's why number 1 was acknowledging what you've been through, because once you start getting to number 2 and 3, you start to kind of contradict yourself with honestly, what is it really that serious? So, acknowledging what happened for what it happened. No ifs, ands, or buts, but what the events were. And that's why I honestly recommend documenting certain stuff either in a journal, or if you're like me and rather write it down. Honestly, whatever. If you're like me, you rather record it or type it, put it in your memories, whatever. Just having documentation of certain things like that can push you in the right direction. Number 4, not letting yourself stay in the same spot. So I will definitely say I'm in, right now I'm in that number 4, number 5 spot. But just because I'm on number 4 doesn't mean I don't backtrack. Sometimes I need those reminders that I'm literally getting into number 5. But sometimes you need to give yourself those reminders of take your time, take it day by day. Sometimes you're gonna have good days, sometimes you're gonna have bad days, stuff like that. You honestly, healing is so fluid, it's so not concrete that honestly, anything if I smell the wrong smell on a certain street on a certain time of the day, it can literally just change my entire mood. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself that time, give yourself space to to understand that the world can't be just your bubble of isolating yourself from all the situations that have happened. Anyways, back to number 4, not letting yourself stay in the same spot. Honestly, when I got into, my friend got me into crystals and intention candles and all that stuff, I was definitely, I didn't down it, but I wasn't really like into it like that. But my friend she brought me to the store, and literally I have an intention candle going right now. I highly recommend getting into this stuff. I really do. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to play with it further than you want to play with it. Honestly, it's at your disposal. If you're in the Hartford area, like I say, I always shout out Mandazi. Make sure y'all go to Mandazi. Good prices, good stuff, good people. And then Spirit Healing is on the smaller side, but on the more intimate side, you know, he's an amazing guy. You can talk to him. Anyways, after I got into that stuff, I definitely started to notice a difference in how easy it was to not let myself get down. You know, I have like my healing candles, my love candles, stuff like that, just to keep me going, my incense, like everything. I used to always, I'm not the tidiest person, if I'm being honest with you guys, but I'm starting to keep my room clean, try to keep up with that stuff. And also I'm older now, like I do not have the luxury to just still have a mess. So yeah, like I'm saying, not letting yourself stay in the same spot. You know, like, if I'm being honest with you, my whole junior year, I let myself sit in this spot of just sadness. And I needed that, honestly. Like, I don't regret sitting in that pit, because I needed to be in that pit, because I know that I never want to go back in that pit. And then number 5, finding ways to pick yourself up when you have a setback. So for me, honestly, it's just spending time with myself. Just having good, healthy habits. I want to make sure that I'm emphasizing short-term reliefs are not long-term things, are not cures. So drugs, alcohol. Recognize that at a certain point, you reach a certain point where that no longer can be what gets you up in the morning. Hey y'all, so I never got to finish recording this when I was recording this video, so I'm coming back just to finish off the video. But anyways, just to piggyback on what I was saying in the last clip, I'm not going to go too deep on substances or substance abuse or anything like that, but what I will say on that topic is, do not get hung up on thinking that substances are long-time cures for short-term problems. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you're dealing with may seem long-term, and may seem like you're always going to be battling it, may seem like you're always going to be in that same rut that you're going to be with. Day by day, it's going to get easier and easier to cope with, and easier to get through. And do not try and sit in and think that you really need that stuff to be your crutch, because you don't need it to be your crutch. So that's all I wanted to say based off of that. Number 5 was ways to pick yourself up when you have setbacks. So finding those healthy things. Working is definitely an escape for me. I love going to work because it's just, you know, I'm no longer me. I'm no longer CC. I no longer have CC's issues. All I have to worry about is doing what I have to do at this place and getting this job done to the best of my abilities, and then I'm immediately rewarded with money. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at working, and that's why I love to work. That's why I'm a workaholic. I love it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, finding whatever that is to get you through those certain times. Also, being aware of not overworking yourself, because I did have that issue. That's why I say I am a workaholic. I do have that issue of working myself too hard to avoid dealing with my issues. So there, you need to find that middle balance. You know what I'm saying? In the summer, this past summer, I used to work myself like a dog. Never took a break and never did any of that. And then when school came down and I couldn't work as much, my life hit me like a brick. And all the stuff that I had been putting back, and all the stuff that I hadn't been working on and taking time to deal with hit me. Like I'm saying, find your medium. Having those things to pick you up, don't use them as crutches, but use them when needed. I'm just gonna go through the list one more time, so we have a reminder of all the 5 tips that we went over this video. So 1, acknowledging what happened, not what you think happened. 2, learning to be alone. 3, letting yourself feel. 4, not letting yourself stay in the same spot. And lastly, 5, finding ways to pick yourself back up when you're having a setback. And to reiterate what I said earlier in the video as well, because these are just really important points that I really want to make sure that you're capturing, is that even though you're on step 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, doesn't mean that they go in chronological order. You can be bouncing from difference to difference. And staying in your sweet spot may feel good. And when you move from that sweet spot, it may hurt you. You might feel like, damn, like I thought I was over this, you know what I'm saying? It can get, very discouraging when you have those setbacks, but reminding yourself that take day by day, you know what I'm saying? Every day you are getting stronger and you are getting better. And even though it may not feel like it now, I can definitely say that I'm not in the same spot that I was a year ago. And I can clearly see that. And I'm grateful for it. And honestly, going through these 5 steps, knowing these 5 steps, I learned them personally and I learned them through experience. And so that's why now they're written on a piece of paper. But honestly, they were just stuff that I had to go through mentally. And so hopefully through this video, I'm able to help a few people, honestly, even if you think this is funny, you know what I'm saying? Share it to someone who might actually need to hear these things. That being said, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share to anybody that you know, share to anybody who you think might need to hear this message. Y'all have a great day, and I love y'all. Bye.